The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, party people and everybody out there. Welcome into a Wednesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you, as always, by our good friends up top, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. We try to do the same thing on this show every single day, and we thank Greenwood Chevrolet for their constant support of Running Point since day one. All the twists and turns it may have taken, and one of the ones that it take about what Scott? How long have we been doing this every week? It's over a year now, right?
Yeah, it has to be because I started coming on
With Ty on,
weekly for Ty. Yeah,
and he departed he departed the show, not YSN departed the show, but last August. So I mean, you were on for plenty of time with Ty. I mean, I remember you were on in the days when the studio looked different than it did, with the computer facing the door, and we were doing trivia with Scotty.
yeah, and then
you've been on for quite a while.
if you recall, Anthony, towards the end there, I really started stumping Ty quite often.
Like, let's be real, that's why he left. There was no other reason for it.
Yeah, that's why he left. He couldn't take it.
The robot knew that his demise was coming to heat, and he just said, "Peace out."
Yeah.
Man. I truly miss trivia with Ty Bartel. If I was any good at trivia at all, I would keep it in the show, but you would stump me every time because I know nothing about sports history. Not the way Ty does. Like, there's stuff I know. I'm not saying, but Ty was pulling out stuff that I was like, what?
Well, that's you helped me though, because I just started.
I got the questions.
Toward the end there, I started getting really obscure.
I needed to help you because you kept going to Super Dave, and he would give you really off the wall questions.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was fun times. It's always fun times when Scotty is in the studio. Well, not in the studio, but on the show. Scotty, thanks for coming on this week, and we have a great show today. We're going to recap some big time Class B baseball, some Little League baseball, and also some Little League softball. We have a new state champion crowned this morning, Scotty, in Little League softball. But let's start with the Class B baseball. And going to the website, we had 18U Championship Series starts last night. Games 1 and 2 were played, and they were both won by the Astro Falcons. Scotty, they have a commanding 2-0 lead. Let's go into the first game where the Astro Falcons won by 9 runs, 13-4. What a way to set a tone in game 1 of the series, to come out and just lights out performance. 3 runs in the first, 2 runs in the second, 1 run in the third. They were up 6-0 after 3, and then 3 more in the fourth, 4 more in the fifth before winning the game 13-4. So that's the first 5 innings. Astro Falcons scored at least a run.
Yeah, that's big. And it's not always the case in baseball, but often, more times than not, if you're the team to put that first run on the board, or first couple runs, and the Falcons did it with a 3 spot, you could really kind of it eases the tension a little bit in games of this magnitude.
And even here, look, the times when Nightline was trying to get some momentum, they're down. They're down 6-0. They score a run. Maybe they can get back into it. Boom! Astro Falcons score 3 more. And then Nightline responds with it, which is props to them. They score 3 in the top of the 5th, and it's all of a sudden it's a 9-4 game, and they feel like if with 2 mornings to play, maybe if they can scrap together some runs in the 6th, maybe they'll have some room in the 7th there. But bottom of the 5th, Astros respond with 4 more runs, and that kind of ends any momentum that Nightline had. So the ability to, one, set the tone early with 6 runs in the first 3, but then to answer the call when Nightline tried to change the momentum of the game, that's big too. Let's look at the big names in the Astro Falcons offense for game 1. A lot of RBIs, but 4 of them came from Jack Lute. He went 2 for 3 with those 4 RBI, 3 RBI in the day from Zach Erb. Remember, he pitched really well in the Astro Falcons game 3 win over the Avalanche to get into this championship. Erb went 1 for 1 with 2 walks and 3 RBI. Pair of RBIs from Jay Rona as he went 2 for 2 with 3 runs scored. Also walked twice, so he was perfect at the plate. And then the Astro Falcons also got RBIs from Ben Slenker, who went 1 for 2 with a run scored, 2 walks. And they also had an RBI from Kika McGuire, 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. A lot of walks, Scotty. 6 walks is a team drawn by the Astro Falcons. 3 players all drawn 2 apiece. We go to the pitching for the Astro Falcons, and it was Evan Holwinski. Sorry about that. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, gave up 9 hits, struck out 8, and walked none. Astro Falcons as a team struck out 9. And Scotty, that has been a theme. We've talked about it before on our Wednesdays. I talked about it on Monday when the Astro Falcons did struggle and lose to Nightline over the weekend. It seems like all summer long with this Astro 18U team, the teams that have had success against them, which haven't been too many, they have kept away from strikeouts. They have kept away from the strikeout numbers. Nightline did that on Saturday in their 5-4 win, but this time around, you see 9 strikeouts by Nightline batting. Too many against a pitching staff that's this good.
Yeah, if you don't at least put the ball in play, you don't give yourself much of a chance because anything could happen once you put the ball in play. But the Astro Falcons again getting really good pitching, punch outs. Not much bad other than the starters count maybe going up, but that's about the only thing that could go bad. And the Astros have the Falcons have so many good pitchers. So, and they were on display again last night.
Nightline did get their hits. 9 hits on the game, multiple a day for Chance Lasco, who went 3 for 4 with a run scored. You had Logan Kovac, who went 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored, and then a perfect day at the plate for Caden Maffid, who went 2 for 2 on the day. So Nightline did get their hits. 9 is pretty impressive, but 9 strikeouts to go with 9 hits and only 4 runs put them in a bad situation early, and they couldn't escape. 13-4 Astro Falcons win game 1. Now game 2 happened right after that, and it was a lot closer, but Nightline still falls to the Astro Falcons. 11-7 the final score in this one. And the Astro Falcons take a 2-0 lead. Let's see how they did it. 5 runs once again. The Falcons set the tone. 5 runs in the first, 1 run in the second, and then kept quiet for the next 3 innings. But Nightline could not take advantage of that. I mean, look at that, scoreless innings through 3. You got to think if Nightline had a chance in this game, they have to take advantage of the fact that their pitching staff went 3 scoreless innings. That's one of the things that stands out to me in this game. You got to be able to score when your defense is keeping the Astro Falcons down.
Yeah, you gotta take advantage of every little opportunity. It's the fine details that sometimes go unnoticed, but against a team as good as the Astro Falcons, If your pitchers are really giving you a chance, you got to be able to cash in and score some runs holding
You
them
look at
back.
it, Scotty, though. They did score 5 runs in the 6th, but it was accompanied by 3 runs by the Astro Falcons in the top half and then 2 more in the 7th. So it was after those 5 runs, it was 9-7 going into the 7th. So you figure you're only down 2, but then once again you give up the 2 spot in the top of the 7th, and you just couldn't consistently keep them down, and you couldn't take advantage of the times that you were keeping them scoreless. So here are the big bats for the Astro Falcons in game 2. 3 RBIs from Ben Slanker, making it 4 on the day for him total. He went 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored and a walk. Also 3 RBIs from AJ Capizzi. He went 1 for 4, so he made the most out of his 1 hit, as he had the triple that scored 3 runs on the 3 RBIs there. A 3 for 4 day for Lude, who had a big day in the game prior as well. He had 2 RBIs. RBI for Zach Erb and Jacob McGuire as well. Erb got a walk, and McGuire went 1 for 2 with a run scored. We go into their pitching and see who got the win, and it was Luke McCoy getting the win for the Astro Falcons here in game 2. He went 5 innings, gave up the 5 earned runs, 7 runs total, but still struck out 8, 10 strikeouts as a whole. The theme continues. Teams tend to not win against the Astro Falcons when their strikeout numbers are high, even if they're putting up runs, which Nightline definitely did. They had 10 hits, 11 runs. 10 hits, 7 runs. They definitely got the ball, bat on the ball, and got their hits, but you can't take away those outs that are 10 strikeouts that you didn't put the ball in play. Could have been a different game if you narrow those strikeouts down to maybe 5 or below. Nightline's offense was led by Tyler Cappan, who went 2 for 3 with 2 RBI. Aiden Thompson went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. And then Nate Freeland had a clean slate as far as the batting, none for none with no walks, but he had an RBI. Trying to figure out how that works. Scotty, what would be a non at bat that's not a walk that would also give you an RBI?
That's not a walk.
Because you go 0 for 1 even if it's an error, right? If you reach an error, you're still 0 for 1.
Yeah.
That is confusing to me.
Maybe would it be a wild pitch? Like,
Would you get an RBI for that though? I don't think you would.
I don't know. Do you? I don't think.
And if you strike out on a drop third strike, you still are 0 for 1, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, you reach base, but you're still 0 for 1. That is strange. I'm gonna have to do some digging, because I've never seen a none for none, 0 for 0 with 0 walks, but still an RBI.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to
I don't
ask
know.
about that. I'm gonna ask about that and see what in the world happened there. But 2 RBIs from Aiden Thompson, like we said, and 1 RBI from Ty Everhart for Nightline as well. He went 1 for 3 with a walk. Nightline pitching. They used Tyler Cappan for 5 innings. He gave up 5 earned runs. And then they had to bring in John Damley, who threw 42 pitches, gave up 6 runs on 3 hits, didn't strike out anybody, but the walk numbers are what really stands out. Total of 15 walks in 2 games for Nightline pitching. That's not going to cut it with how good Astro Falcons are at swinging the bat. So they fall down 2-0, and Nightline, they're not out. You're not done yet. You still have to win 3 games, but that is a mighty big hole to climb out of against a team that only lost, I think 2 games all year. I'm going to go look at the standings and double check that. 3 games. They lost 3 games all season, and you have to win 3 in a row against them to get the championship.
Yeah, that's about as tall a task as they come. Not saying it's impossible, but Nightline definitely has their work cut out for them.
They have to take it 1 game at a time. They'll try to do that tonight with games 3 and 4 if they win game 3 tonight at Bob Scene Park. 16U is done. They have a champion. And I can't go into the box score for that. The Bob Scene Park website is already updated to show the NABF World Series schedule, so I can't go into the championship box score. But what I can tell you is they won 8-7. It was a thriller the whole way, Scotty. This whole series was a thriller, and it goes a winner take all game 5, and it ends up being a very good outcome for Avalanche, who wins 8-7. They hold off a Whiting rally, and they take the 16U championship by the final score of 8-7.
That's that's games like that, 8-7 finishes. We talked about it before. We're not really like, we just like seeing good games. If that means it's a great pitcher's duel, so be it. More of a slugfest, that's good too. But I think, like an 8-7 game, sometimes it could have that perfect balance where you're not scoring, 15 or 20 runs, but it's, you get a little bit of everything: pitching, defense, a little bit of offensive outburst. So it's a healthy mix.
So I want to go into the comments real quick and go over this question about the 11U baseball game that happened last night. Boardman gets the championship win 9-4 over Canfield. They win the winner take all game. They win the District 2 championship in 11U baseball. But we apologize that our announcer was unable to get out to that game. He had something come up very late notice, and we were unable to get that game on the network, which means we were unable to get stats from that game. So we do recognize, and we posted the great picture that was put up from the banner, and we congratulate Boardman's 11U on winning the championship 9-4 over Canfield to secure their district crown. Look at this: 11U Boardman wins, 12U Boardman wins, 9U Boardman wins in baseball. Do you think maybe the future is bright for Boardman baseball?
I think things are looking pretty good. Not too shabby for
Pretty
Bournemouth.
good. I mean, and
Yeah.
then tonight is the only game, the only age division where Boardman's not in the championship. Tonight will be the 10U baseball championship. That's going to be between Poland and Canfield on L1, and but 9U, 11U, and 12U all won by Boardman. Brendan Miller says it was a great series between the Avalanche and Whiting. It really was. It's everything you ask out of a championship series. Tug of war all the time, and then the last game goes 8-7. Whiting tries a late rally. Avalanche holds them off. It was everything you want from a championship series. Brendan Miller's absolutely right, and he was keeping a close eye on that. Brendan Miller does all of our graphics, makes sure that all of our final scores get in. He does a great job keeping an eye on all the games that are happening on the night, and he's kind of our eyes in the sky for B. Miller. And he's right that series between the Avalanche and Whiting was very exciting.
That's good stuff. It's always good to hear from B. Miller and be seeing them more. I know that with another sport on the
Yep.
horizon.
Tomorrow, Scotty, starts off the NABF World Series down there at Scene, and B's going to be working hard to get the final score graphics for those as well. But you think we're done with the championship series? No. Hold on, timeout. It goes right from the championship series right into the NABF World Series at Scene Park. So our coverage at Bob Scene Park is by nowhere near done. Still have 18U going on. Their games 3 and 4 if necessary, happening tonight. Astro Falcons have a 2-0 lead. They can sweep the series with a win in game 3. If Nightline wins game 3, they will play game 4 tonight as well. So 18U could be over tonight. Nightline could win too, and they could force a game 5 on Thursday, but um, it's a bit like we said before. It's a big mountain to climb to win 3 in a row against the Astro Falcons, but one game at a time for Nightline. I think they're just focusing on trying to win game 3 and play again tonight. You always want to extend your season at least one more game. So we'll see what happens in the 18U Championship Series as it continues tonight. Scotty, we also have to give a shout out this morning. Austintown 12U softball. They are your state champions. They win 7-0 this morning over Clay. They won 11-0 yesterday over Boardman. So they have 2 wins since the last time we were on Running Point. Let's go over both of them real quick here. They can both those recaps can be found on ysnlive.com. Let's start with that win over Boardman. This was anticipated as a close game. And Austintown and Boardman split the district. Boardman won 3-1. Austintown won 7-0. So you really felt like this was going to be in a competitive game, but Austintown just absolutely put their best foot forward. 11-0. They win. A lot of people contributed with RBIs. Mealy Hamley, Tori Greathouse, Bella Mattern, Seneca Coates. They all had runs scored. Hamley pitched in the circle for Austintown, allowing 3 hits, no runs, and striking out 9 in 5 innings that she went. 13 hits on the day for Austintown. Bumgard and Mike Cassell and Coates and Hamley, they all had multiple hits. And Bumgart led the offense with 3 hits, 3 at-bats, so she went 3 for 3. Just a wonderful performance by Austintown. They carried that momentum, and they went on to play Clay this morning at 10 o'clock for the championship. And the state bracket is a little bit different because it is double elimination until the state championship. So in district, we were so used to seeing whoever came out of the loser bracket had to win twice, had to beat that team that was in the winner's bracket twice to win a championship. This time, if you get to the state championship, it's almost like a one game, whoever wins. It's you have
take all.
You have 2 chances to get there. If you lose, you're not out. You can still get to the championship. But once you get there, it's winner take all. So this was a high pressure game for Austintown. It wasn't like districts where if you lose, you have to come back and try to win again. Austintown had to win this game to win a state championship, and they did dominatingly. 7-0, they get the win. Mila Hamley gave up 2 hits, no runs again. Let's see how many strikeouts she had real quick. She struck out 8 strikeouts, no walks for Mila Hamley in this game. That's incredible. This is an incredible run through the state for Mila Hamley. Boardman lost to Clay last night. If you're wondering what happened to them, they lost to Austintown, and then they lost to Clay right after playing Austintown. They had to play the doubleheader. So Boardman, the reigning state champions, they get eliminated. Austintown wins the state championship. So that means that the fans are kind of dubbing Austintown as softball HQ in the state of Ohio. They've won the high school state championship. They've won the 12U state championship. I think things are looking pretty good. Pretty good in Austintown. We talked about the future being bright for Boardman baseball. The present's pretty bright for Austintown, but their future looks pretty good as well.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Some really impressive wins, and when your back's like totally against the wall and you have to come out with a victory, that makes it even more impressive to be able to perform in those pressure-packed situations.
So now Austintown goes to regionals, and if they win regionals, they are in the Little League World Series in North Carolina. How exciting is that? One step away now. It's a big step. You're playing the Northeast region, so teams from the Northeast, their state representatives will all be there. You're playing the best teams in your region, so it's definitely a big step, but one step away from the World Series.
Yeah, man. I don't know about you, but if that was me, it's like thinking about like Christmas as a kid. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep night before.
Setup is exactly the same. It's going to be a double elimination bracket until the championship. You get to the championship, it's winner take all. But Austintown will have their eyes turned to that, and if they win regionals, they will go to North Carolina for the Little League World Series. And I've said it before, Scotty. This is going to be a big kind of first year that softball is doing this at the Little League World Series. MLB has done it for a couple of years. The professional softball league, Athletes Unlimited, will have a doubleheader the day before the start of the Little League World Series. So all the kids that make it to the Little League World Series for softball are going to be able to watch, interact, learn from the best players in the world in the professional league. That's something the MLB started a little bit ago, where they're putting games in Williamsport right around the time of the Little League World Series for baseball. And I think that the director of Little League really saw the impact that it had on those kids when they got to watch the MLB players play before they went and played in the biggest games of their lives. And he said, there's no reason we can't do this for softball too. So it's going to be a big moment for whoever makes it out of regionals to go to the Little League World Series.
Big time, big moment, man. I'm really excited.
And now, like high school baseball, one round behind softball, there's going to be state tournaments to keep an eye on for 12U baseball for Boardman, 11U baseball for Boardman, 9U baseball for Boardman, and then tonight we're going to decide the winner of 10U. They're in an if necessary game between Poland and Canfield. So we will see who wins tonight, Poland Canfield in the 10U baseball. That's the last one to be decided on the baseball side. But Scotty, I know it's been a minute, but fans, do not forget that we still have to decide 10U softball. This was scheduled to be decided last Thursday. We are so behind schedule. It was originally scheduled to be decided by last Tuesday, so it should have been done technically 7 days ago. But the rain, all last week for the Little League Softball World District, it was a nuisance. It pushed games back, and on Thursday the rains came. They pushed the 10U games all the way to tonight. So 10U softball tonight, where we're going back to where we left off. Boardman versus Austintown in the losers bracket final. The winner of that will move on to the championship round against Canfield. They would have to win twice. Canfield can win tonight and win the championship. So Boardman Austintown will happen at 6 o'clock at S2 on ysnlive.com. That is an elimination game, and the winner of that will go on to play Canfield in what they hope would be game one of the championship at 8 o'clock. So it's going to be an exciting night of softball. We could have a District 2 champion crowned for softball. We will definitely have one for 10U baseball. It's like I said, Poland and Canfield playing in the if necessary game tonight at the Field of Dreams.
Poland, Canfield, that's
a battle of 224. Like, you can't
no
ask for anything less, right?
There. Yeah.
That's like straight up rivalry there, going for it all, going for the state title. Let's go over who's going to be where tonight, announcers wise, as you go into our coverage. Everything is covered tonight. We talk about the Field of Dreams baseball. Noah Ricks will be there for the 10U championship at 8 o'clock on L1. I will be down there for both softball games at 6 and 8. Austintown versus Boardman at 6. Canfield versus the winner of that one at 8. And there will be the Class B baseball. Matt Marr will have 1, maybe 2 games of 18U action. And then Scrappers will also be in action tonight. Ty Bartell has the call against the Frederick Keys. 7:05 is the start time for that one. Take advantage of seeing them, because after this little homestand, Scrappers will be on the road until July 21st.
Yeah, you want to get out there and see some good action out at Eastwood Field. That's a beautiful facility. Never forget, my first job was as a Scrappers intern. So, like many of us, the Scrappers will always hold a special place in my heart.
You have baseball on every level on the network tonight. You have 10U baseball, you have 18U baseball, and then you have the MLB Draft League, which the MLB Draft is what? Almost, no, it is done, right? It is completely over. So
Yeah.
Scrappers will look a little bit different in the next couple of games as they rework their roster after some of their players got drafted by the MLB Draft. So make sure to get out there, see the Scrappers tonight. 7:05 is your start time from Eastwood Field. While you're there, maybe you can open up some other devices and watch some games that are going on across the network, or you can do that at the other games. You're at Bobstein Park, pull up your device, watch Little League Baseball, watch Little League Softball, watch the Scrappers game. If you're at softball or baseball at Little League Field of Dreams, watch some Class B baseball on your device or Scrappers baseball. It's a beautiful thing about YSN. We are everywhere all at once. You don't have to confine yourself to just the one game we pick. We are everywhere. I feel like Woody in Toy Story. We see everything. So play nice. And on that note, yeah, I got to get a pop culture reference in every now and then, Scotty. On that
Hey,
note,
that's no problem with me. I mean, that's one of my top favorite childhood movies. So
see that? My name is Mrs. Nesbit. Don't
don't you get it?
you get it?
The
Oh,
Buzz,
man.
can you give me a hand?
Oh, very funny. This is serious.
Oh, so good, man.
You tried to pull. Stefan. We'll see ya. We're going to take a break. We're going to stop our silliness, take a break. We'll come back with more sports and see what's on Scotty's mind after this on Running Point. Brought to you, as always, by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Back in a bit.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn. Hi, this is Steve Rossetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience,
WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats. Go Dogs. Go Tigers. Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Shopping for a vehicle online should be easy and worry-free. Introducing Merge from Greenwood Chevrolet, a completely new way to buy a car that combines the convenience of shopping online with the personal touch and expertise that Greenwood is known for. With Merge, shopping is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Choose a vehicle from our pre-owned inventory, build a deal that fits your needs, and finalize the deal with our online buying team. That's car buying in a new lane. Visit greenwoodchevrolet.com and let us go the extra mile for you.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. As always, we are brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day and at YSN as well. Scotty, it's the time of the show where we always try to see what's on your mind, which is a scary thought. What is on your mind today?
It can be
It can be.
scary at times, but it's kind of like it could be it's like a roller coaster, really fun too. You just never know. But uh, on my mind today, I wanted to tie this in locally, but I read this morning that the NFL selected the New York Jets to be on this version of the latest installment, latest edition of Hard Knocks, and there were a couple other teams in the running. I think the Chicago Bears were one. I want to say New Orleans was another. But I wanted to know from you, Anthony, um, have you watched Hard Knocks before? Do you think it's kind of run its course? Maybe do you think there's a more like intriguing team they could have went with? And then the second part, locally, and I know it's early, so bear with me. I know it's early, but the second part of it, on the surface, give me a team with the high school football season not too far off now. Give me a team that on the surface you don't necessarily know is going to be really good or great, but they're going to be very intriguing in the least.
All right. So first about Hard Knocks, I have watched it. I will say that Amazon did a kind of similar series that I liked a lot better. They haven't done it in a minute. I think they've ended the series. I don't know if COVID kind of put a stop to it, but they had one called All or Nothing. I think they had like 3 or 4 NFL seasons. They did the Rams, the Panthers, the Eagles, the Cardinals. I think they did 4 seasons of it. And it was it was really well done. I enjoyed it. Hard Knocks is the same. It's not exactly the same. I just think All or Nothing just seemed a little bit better to me. I always find like they pick the bat. And there must be a thing where like the competitive, the truly competitive teams don't want to do Hard Knocks or something because like, I feel like wouldn't you want to do someone that's like going to is going to be in the playoffs and someone that is going to compete for a Super Bowl or whatever? Like, wouldn't you want to do a season about like the Bengals or the Bills or maybe the Eagles or maybe the Niners? It's like when you want to follow a team that you think is going to like really have a shot to win the conference and go to a Super Bowl, and instead of we're going to make Hard Knocks about like the Jaguars and the Jets and the teams that we know are going to go for it. It's called Hard Knocks, right? So I guess that makes it that lines the title of the show. You want someone that's going to have a hard season. But it's always funny. It's like, how interesting is a team that goes 4-13 at the end of the year? It's like,
yeah, I think the Browns I'm a little biased because I'm a fan, but the last couple years they've been pretty mediocre. Like they haven't been god awful, but they haven't necessarily lived up to expectations. And I think with this year, with Watson coming in his first year as the full-time starter and getting paid the 230 mil, I think they would be a pretty polarizing team just because if they
I don't think anyone's touching Deshaun Watson in that kind of sense right now. Like no one wants to go inside that Cleveland locker room. And no, I don't think anyone wants to touch Cleveland's state of mind right now. But I tell you what team would I think would be fun to like maybe like a Minnesota type team that's like usually relevant, but not always, kind of gags in the big games a lot of the time. Minnesota would be a really good Hard Knocks, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think they would be good too.
This year, I mean, like, you just lost Aaron Rodgers. What's it gonna be like? That's Hard Knocks, right? That is the definition of we are going through it because we just lost our franchise quarterback, and we have no idea what we're gonna do now. We have no receivers really to speak of. We have a brand new green quarterback. It's going to be a rough season for Green Bay. Probably their first really rough season in a long, long time. I don't even remember the last time they had a record that was like below 7 wins or like not. I know they didn't make the playoffs last year, but very rarely are the Packers not relevant. And I think it's going to be a really rough year in Green Bay.
Yeah, unless there's something about Jordan Love that we don't know, but
If they're
it
feeling the
seems
love.
very.
How
I'm
about
gonna.
this? I just thought of it. Like the last two quarterbacks for Green Bay, and they've only had two with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. That's been it. They both left Green Bay for the Jets.
That's right. Yeah,
What?
that's
What are the odds? No, and then to your other question, high school football team that I guess you could maybe like the way you worded it, maybe you could say under the radar a little bit. Like, is going to be a fun team to watch. Maybe people aren't talking about them as winning a championship or kind of being in the top teams in the area. Um, I'm looking towards the MVAC, and I think there are a lot of teams in that grade tier that can really toe that line of being um, competitive and being right in it and um, kind of being relevant. Guess I should say in the conference. I'm not going to sit here and say they're the favorites, but I'm gonna pick Crestview. I'm gonna pick Crestview football. I think obviously Don Perry taking over. I love his energy. I love what he's going to bring to this football program. They're hard hitting, they're physical, they're angry all the time. They're an angry bunch of players. Every time Crestview takes the field, they always you watch a game and you're like, man, what are these guys so angry about? They're just hitting people hard, they're pushing people around. I like Crestview's style of football, and I think they're going to be one of those teams that sneaky good, sneaky hard, a hard out in that MVAC grade tier with a lot of really competitive teams. Obviously, Garfield is going to come in and be the favorite inside that MVAC grade tier. But I kind of like Crestview. I like what Crestview's doing. I like the new energy with a new coach, and I want to see how the legacy that Coach Cusick, Paul Cusick, I want to see what he left. I want to see what footprints he left on the program. And they're going to be big footprints to fill. But I want to see it.
the Rebels.
South Range is in the same boat, right? They lost a tenured coach in Yeagley as well, and they're going to be. It's kind of like the exact same story. They're going to be head up by a South Range alum, just like Don Perry at Crestview. So I'm interested to see the first year for both those schools and see how big that legacy and those footprints of the very tenured, very well respected coaches in Yeagley and Cusick, how large that looms, especially this year and next year. You really start to see it in the next couple of years on what they left in that program and how big of a legacy they left in that program and how much that ripples into the future. Because when we talk to seniors, Scotty, and you've been on interview with seniors before, one of the things we always ask them is, when you leave next year, when you leave this year, and we ask someone the next season, what kind of legacy or what kind of impact that person made on them as a leader, is one of the big questions, because that's what you always want to know. You want to know how greatness left the program when they do step down. And it's the same thing for legendary coaches when they retire. You want to kind of see, you're really intrigued to see how that program continues when they're gone. And I'm interested in both Crestview and South Range for those reasons.
Yeah, and you mentioned like South Range and coming off the highest of highs, winning the state championship. But as you mentioned, Yeagley gone now and losing a lot, including um, Billy Skirpack, and just a lot that they're losing, but they've been a winner for so long now. So on one hand, it's hard for me to believe that they're gonna have. I'm not saying they won't have trials. I think they will, but it's hard for me to believe. Like, I think that ship is steady, and it's been steady for a long time.
Look, I'll
Like
just say
you
it.
said, though, they are losing a lot.
They are.
So
It's a tough time to lose a coach like Yeagley because you're also losing a lot of really good seniors. And one of the things that Yeagley was really, really good at was kind of taking those seniors that everyone keeps saying, "Oh, how are we going to replace these guys? The South Range is going to be down this year. They can't replace these guys." And he gets the next group. He gets the best out of the next group. So now we're going to have to see, can South Range continue that legacy? Because a down year for South Range, Scotty, under Coach Yeagley was 7 wins. I mean, that's a down year. You know how many programs would love a down year to be 7
yeah,
wins? I mean, very
where they
rarely,
win.
very rarely. I think maybe once or twice in his tenure did Coach Yeagley have a season that was below 7 wins in the program. So that's the standard that he left, right? That's a down year. So even when South Range is quote unquote down, they're one of the best teams in the area.
Yeah, so it really will be fascinating to watch them and see. Like it's not so much that they won't have the players and won't have people buying in. The most interesting thing, Anthony, and you touched on it, I think is the next coach. Is he going to be able to squeeze the most juice out of these players that he can get like Yeagley did? That's
I'm
the big
interested in also, Scotty. I know we're going on a tangent, but why not mention other teams? West Branch didn't lose a coach, but they lost a heck of a quarterback, one of the best quarterbacks in the area, and Drew DeShields. And I'm reminded of Drew. Now, this year is starting to look a lot like Drew DeShields' first year as a starting quarterback, because if you rewind a little bit to that season, people were really worried about West Branch because they were losing Brock Hilliard, who was a great quarterback, got them to regionals, had a heck of a season. So people were like, okay, well, you lost Brock Hilliard, and who's going to replace this big threat as a quarterback? No one, Drew DeShields was under the radar, and he stepped on that field from the first game he started varsity, and he ran with it. He took the reins. He had control. Heck of an athlete. We knew his name, but we knew him more for basketball and baseball before he stepped on as the starting quarterback for varsity football. So now here we go. It's the same thing. Bo Alazaz. We have known that name for a long time, especially for baseball, but also basketball. And now here he comes. He's going to be the new starting quarterback for West Branch. It's kind of the same thing. A guy that we know is a great athlete, knows how to do stuff, but can he step up into that varsity level quarterback world and control the team and lead the team and do all the things that Drew DeShields did behind the scenes to make that a well-oiled machine in West Branch? That's going to be fun to watch, to see if Bo Alazaz can do the same thing that Drew DeShields did in West Branch this year.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. I loved, being a part of the audible call and watching, getting a chance to glance at several games a week. And Drew DeShields was just so special. You got me thinking, Anthony, while you were talking about West Branch and Drew DeShields, but I started thinking about Lowville and how they probably had their best season in school history last year, football wise, or at least in a very, very long time. And I just wonder, how are they gonna respond?
It's another question we asked it with coaches, and we always ask it with seniors. What kind of legacy do you leave on the program? Yes, you're losing a lot of talent in Lowville, but this year we get to really find out what those seniors did behind the scenes, in practice, in the locker room, in the weight room, to trickle that standard of success down to the people that are going to be taking over the program now. You really find out what a senior was made of in the years after they graduate, because a lot of talented seniors, but not every senior leaves that lasting legacy. Not every senior is able to leave the program, and their leadership isn't able to carry that program when they're gone. So now we're going to see if Lowville can have that. Do they have did they have the senior leadership that did everything right in the off season, in the weight room, in the summer workouts, in the practices? Is that standard of excellence going to continue in Lowville? And I'm excited. There are a lot of teams that are in that boat this year.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's almost like crossroads seasons, and it makes it very, very exciting.
In the EOAC, they've had control of that league for a long time. They're in that boat. They lost a lot of good talent. What can they do? So very interesting. This is a year, Scotty. Last year, new names, a lot of returning talent in football last year. This year, going to be a lot of new names, I think, that we're going to have to learn really quickly this season. It's the cycle of high school football. There's always going to be new names that pop up. And I think there's going to be a lot of new names this year. Speaking of audible call, Scotty, how excited are you? It's going to look different this year. We're going to be in the athletic studio for audio audible call, and we're going to be down there in athletics in the brand new facility they built us, and that's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Radar, he tries to rush it. He's been talking with me about it like, every day. But
Radar wants to audible call before football starts. He wants audible call training camp. He wants to go whip around the summer practices and have an audible call training camp.
yeah, he wants a teaser. He wants to get his feet wet with a little preview before the season. But uh, yeah, I'm very excited for the new facility opening, and it's every Friday night. It's super fun, man, and I don't mean to get too sappy on you, Anthony, but um, you do a lot for me. It's always great being on here, but we've also bonded the last several years as a part of Audible Call, and I just thank you, man, because you always put me in a position to succeed. So.
That's because you keep Radar and your Purple Cat friends in line. That's what your job is, keeping them in line. Scotty,
Yeah,
you have enough time for one more quick thing that's on your mind. If you have one more quick one.
yeah, I do. So we talked about Shohei Ohtani a couple weeks ago, and this is another topic I wanted to maybe bring local sports into it. Um, a lot's being talked about Shohei Ohtani and the Angels. Will they trade him in this second half of the season? I personally can't see them trading someone like that. I mean, we've talked about him. He's like a unicorn, unlike anybody you've ever seen. I really think it'd be very tough to sell that to your fans, trading someone like him. But I guess um, if you were the Angels, I mean, it's pretty unlikely they're gonna be in the playoffs right now. Would you even consider trading Shohei Ohtani?
I know why
Anthony?
you're bringing up Scotty. You're just bringing it up because there are rumors that Cleveland wants him, and that whole news
There's
cycle.
no
It
way
has
they'd
legs.
be able to
It
get
has
him.
legs. It has legs. It has official legs. What Otani said something during one of his pressers. They got a lot of people talking in Cleveland. Let me see.
Yeah, I haven't really dived into. Um, like I've heard some people bring it up in conversation, but I don't see any way the guards are able.
Oh yeah, because he said they were asking him who some of his favorite guys to play with were in the All-Star game, and he singled out Jose Ramirez. So now Cleveland fans are losing their mind, like, Ohtani to Cleveland, woo!
Yeah. Well, a guy can dream, but that's all it is. It's a dream. But I guess I mean, it's hard because they still haven't won at the rate you'd like to see with guys like Ohtani and Trout. Trout, unfortunately, is hurt again. But do you think ownership should even consider it? And then before we wrap up for today, if there's one player in the area, baseball or softball wise, that you'd be able to kind of flip and get to go to your team, who's somebody you would want in the area, baseball or softball?
I'm sorry, I was restate that question. I was reading Ohtani stuff.
I'm saying if there was a star, baseball or softball wise, so you could pick from either one that maybe is on a rival team or another team that if you could pick one that you could have join forces with your school, who would that person be?
Well, why don't I just, because like we're Ysn here, so we have 60 schools that we love and we are partners with and we're family with. So I have a lot of softball knowledge around the area, and so I'm connected to some softball players that aren't on Ysn schools. So I'm gonna take this and say if I could take one player that was outside the Ysn coverage map and put her inside the Ysn coverage map.
I like that.
You know, it's Carter Wachtel. It's Carter Wachtel from Triway. He's going to be a senior this year. A great pitcher. Pitched the Triway to the regional semifinals. They lost to South Range. South Range did a really good job of beating her, but man, it would just add another pitcher arsenal to our already really great pitcher rotation that we have at Ysn, and that would be really fun to have her come into the fold a little bit.
Yeah, nice.
I'm being biased because you were allowed to be biased for Cleveland, so I'm picking the girl that's committed to Georgia Tech. Let's talk about her a little bit. Let's get her into the Ysn family.
Yeah, why not?
Let me do a player profile.
The more the merrier.
Let me do a player profile. Let me talk about going to Georgia Tech. That one might last longer than most.
Yeah, that's man. Buckle up.
Buckle up, Buttercup. We're on a ride.
Yeah.
On that note, Scotty, we do have to say goodbye to this episode of Running Point. It has been a great time, like it always is on every Wednesday. Want to remind everybody that there is baseball and softball on the network tonight. 10U softball losers bracket final and the start of the championship. We have baseball 10U championship at the Field of Dreams. And then we have baseball championship series from 18U for Class B baseball. And then last but not least at 7:05, Scrappers versus the Frederick Keys will be called by Ty Bartell. So plenty of baseball and softball on the network tonight. Make sure to tune in. And we'll be back tomorrow on Running Point from 1 to 2. Until then.